go ahead and so that is good to go. And where's my admit all button? Okay. Two devices.
I know, two
tonight.
devices.
All righty, welcome everybody.
Plugged in over on that side, this side.
Make sure everybody is muted for tonight. Thank you very
Recording
much.
in progress.
Everybody is here. All right, welcome everybody to our September board meeting. It is already September. We are well into school and the swing of things here. So glad to see everybody tonight. And we have a brief rundown here of our agenda. And we're getting pretty good here at having some people in the room tonight, so you can see us in the room as well as on Zoom. So that's awesome. All right, so we will call the meeting to order at 6:36 p.m. and we will make sure to have our time for public comments. I know that we may also have some folks who are interested in joining the board. We've had a few people respond with interest. So if you're out there, you are welcome to use your 3 minutes. Again, the guidelines are you have 3 minutes to share. And if you're interested to share, we can use the chat to have you let us know in that chat if you're interested to speak for 3 minutes. I know somebody's outside.
Last week.
So right as we get started. So all right. So that's the plan for public comments. We will also approve
Should
our
I
minutes.
step out and tell them to?
Sure. that's
Okay.
Here, let me let a couple more people in the waiting room here.
Let the blowing pass tonight. I'll go for early.
I don't know if y'all can hear that in the background. Okay. All right. Sorry. Figuring out all our background noise out here. So, okay. So we will also be approving our minutes from last time. We do have a vote, just a reminder. We do need to vote on our officers for the board for this year because we have not yet recorded that for this year. So we didn't do that last time. So we do need to do that today. We do need to codify that in the minutes. So we will take that vote first.
Make it cut.
Go ahead and leave early. We'll take care of that.
No, we'll get that done right away.
Yeah.
Right in the beginning.
We'll save that for the end. No, we're saving it for end and letting them leave early.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So that will be 2 items to do at the beginning, then we'll turn over to our principal's report. And I think you've got 1 vote in there, Patrice, that we need to make a
Yes.
vote tonight.
Yes.
So I wrote that down. And then Philip, Finance, we'll hear from you. Good old monthly update. Sarah, I think I saw you join. If you can give us a PTO update tonight, that'll be great. And then we can just do a quick committee update if there's anything there. And that's it. Anything else? Okay. So what I will do first is we can go ahead and offer public comment. So not sure where to look now. There. So we're going to watch the chat, and if anybody online wants to speak for 3 minutes as public comment, that would be great. If you could let us know in the chat. Whoop. Sure. You're here, but not here. Anybody else? Okay, watching that chat to see if there's any public comments.
Hey, Kristen, this is Madhav Mehra. I sent in a message in the chat already. I don't know if you saw it.
No, I can't do that, but
Maybe send it to you privately.
what happened? Oh, okay. Okay, we found the offender. Okay, we're okay. All good. Okay, now, where was I? Madhav, hi. Did you want to say anything for your 3 minutes?
Yeah, hi everyone. This is Madhav Mehra. My kids attend Innovation Montessori in the 4th grade and in BPK. And I have been in Orlando for around 12 years. I have worked in the software industry in product management, sales, and other roles. I have worked in large companies. Currently, I work with a company that has 7,000 people globally. I've also worked at startups and helped them grow. So I understand the board is looking for somebody who can help with finance-related, planning-related activities, which I've done in the past. So I'll be happy to help with that. And other than that, one thing I wanted to mention was in the last meeting, there was a discussion about helping to catalog the books or something. So if that you're still looking for volunteers for that, I can help with that as well.
Great, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, going once, going twice. All right, thank you for that. We will move right along. So we will be approving minutes from the August 23rd board meeting. So well, you had a chance to see that in board docs, by the way, for public. Just as always, our agendas are out on the board docs site. So you can always follow along with us on there. And whenever we approve our minutes, they're then posted and available the next. Basically, as soon as they're approved, they'll be visible on the site. And you can also see the recordings on that site. So and comments, questions about the minutes?
I'll make a motion to pass the previous board minutes from August. Sorry, 23rd,
23rd, yeah.
as written.
We have a motion to approve the minutes from August 23rd. We have a second.
I'll second.
From the board.
Oh,
Second.
That's
Thank you, Kevin.
Sarah.
Has to be from the
Thank you,
board,
Sarah.
yeah.
She's like, I read them, I'm good.
Oh, thanks, Sarah.
I love it.
And then
Hi, Michelle.
Hi,
Hello.
come in.
all in favor, Kevin?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're good.
Thank
you,
you.
Kristen.
All right. Okay, and then without further ado, we would like to make sure that we confirm and approve our board officers for this year. We do need to record that in the minutes. So our slate, as I believe it to be, I'll read that off, is Brett Casey, our president, Stacy Williams, our vice president, myself as secretary, and Philip Lena as treasurer. So
AJ's not here, so we can certainly sign. it.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
not gonna call in and cite us on it tonight.
Unless there's any, concerns or other folks want to throw their names in the hat for stuff. Happy
Kevin's
to-
not gonna look up. He's just keeping his head down. He's taking out his.
Happy to entertain a motion to for this board officer slate as presented.
I'll move to approve the slate of officers as read out loud by our incumbent secretary.
We have a second. So second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right, congratulations, team. We're official. Okay.
Not let me drink it. You should not let me drink an entire, like,
I'm pretty sure
caffeinated
Shane
beverage
is naming
before
the
this
president.
meeting.
That's the way I interpret her body language. So.
Okay, moving
More straight
along.
later.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for that. Over to Patrice.
Okay, so we are now officially at the halfway mark for the first 9 weeks. And I'm going to have Kathy Tobin provide some highlights for IMO. And then Jared Stewart will provide some brief highlights for the high school. So Kathy Tobin, I'm going to turn it over to you.
I was telling the board before the meeting started that really all my news is in the newsletter. I send a very long newsletter, so I highly encourage everyone to read it. But at the risk of being redundant, open houses are underway, and we had Upper L last night, so thanks to everyone who was able to come. And we have Lower L on Thursday, and then the following week we'll have primary and then middle school. So please be sure and attend those. That's a great way to get into your children's classrooms and learn a little more about the structure of their day. So highly recommend everyone attend those. Those are set presentations rather than a pop-in situation. So you'll want to be there at 6 and stay from 6 until 7. Testing, Patrice will touch on. We've just, I think, a few more days left in our first round of progress monitoring, fast testing. It's been a treat, but we're nearly done. Bad weather will probably continue to affect us in Caroline for the rest of this week at least. So just want to thank everyone for their patience in those long lines when we do get held up because of lightning. And I also want to give a big shout out to our Caroline staff who are very, not only brave and but smiley most of the time while enduring those extremes of weather. So we're very grateful to them. Everything else, I think we're doing well, rolling along. It already seems like we've been doing this for months, not just 4.5 weeks. So thanks to all our parents and all our staff, to our wonderful board and administrators for all the support. It's been going really well.
Okay, thank you, Kathy. And yes, just a real big shout out. I said in the newsletter today, not only for the storms, which I didn't even mention, for the car line and recess, etc., but also for just the heat. So everybody who's been managing the car line and the recess and PE, I just really give a shout out to you guys for all the work that you're doing. I also mentioned in my portion of the newsletter today, just a little bit more about the progress monitoring that Kathy was talking about. So I really recommend that you read that portion in Parent Square, just to give you just a rundown and help you to understand your children may have been coming home and talking about some of the disruptions that we've had to go through, especially in our kindergarten through 8th grade. High school is not as much of a problem because we have enough devices for all the high school students. And we do have devices for middle school, but we do not have devices for kindergarten through 6th grade students. And so we've had to manage that. Kathy and her team have worked really hard, but it's taken a lot. And there's been a lot of disruption around providing that progress monitoring. So again, read the newsletter for a little bit more information, but I'm going to now pass it on to Jared just to give us some highlights for the high school.
I guess ask a quick question on the fast testing. When do you guys expect the first round of results back?
So high school, we do have some results back. We don't have them for the K-8 yet. So Kathy,
We have some, I think.
we have some, but when will we be complete
Do you get
with
them
the
real
K-8?
time?
Friday.
I think we get them the next day.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll be done on Friday.
Can we get some like summary?
Absolutely. Yeah, I was planning on
for
doing
us
that in
sometime?
October. Yeah, absolutely.
Any word on the math FSA, when
As-
it's gonna come back? Because we've missed the window,
All
so.
right.
We still
Oh,
don't have the
we
math
didn't get our
FSA
first-
yet.
No, we have FSA too. I was planning on sharing that in October as well, as long as
So
our
we
school
do have the
improvement plan.
FSAs
Yes,
in
we
of the
do.
math. Okay,
Yes.
good, good,
Yep,
good.
yep.
When will families get notified of that?
So families were notified via Parent Square, weren't they, Kathy, about the FSA scores? I remember you and I had this discussion about how you were releasing that information.
Yeah, I think we're getting score sheets in, which we are sending home through the classrooms.
But we haven't gotten them yet.
They're coming in drips and drabs.
And do we have, sorry, one more.
Yeah.
The testing window was extended for this round. Are we gonna be able to get that same extension for the following rounds of FAST, or are they're gonna make us crunch to a smaller window?
I don't think they can make us crunch to a smaller window. I think that they realize that it's impossible for us to do to a smaller window. I think we expect that we will get a little bit better,
Yeah.
but there are still some structural pieces in place that are going to still make it hard for us, especially at the K-8. The high school, as I shared, is we only are doing ELA in the high school, which that makes it easier. Plus, they all have devices. So that makes it easier.
Can I jump in there? And just because families may not be aware, in the past when we had MAP, that was a progress monitoring platform that we used, and that was under full school control. So we would create the rosters, upload them, set our own schedule, and then have all our test scores come right back to us. With FAST, the district gave us actual testing dates for, on this day, these grades will take it, on this day, these grades will take it. And we had to reach out to the district and say there is no way with, the fact that we're not one-to-one for devices in elementary that we can meet your schedule. So they gave us the grace at least to get our testing done within the set window. But the warning was, this is an extended window because it's our first go around, and next time it's going to be a much shorter window. We're joking, some teachers today I was chatting with said it's a bit ironic that it's called the FAST test because it was anything but fast. And I don't know how we can get it all done in 2 weeks, but we'll see what happens. I think the state is probably a bit surprised at even the duration of each individual test, where they had initially said, 30 to 90 minutes, and we find children having to sit there for two hours plus, so I think probably adjustments will be made. At least I hope so.
Need to look at investing in any more technology to support this.
Well, I think in the future, we may have to think of our budget, in this regards, because if you remember, for those of us who've been here for a while, we remember at one point in time, the state had told us that to expect till we have all the testing, on computers. And then 2 or 3 years ago, there was a big pushback from parents about not feeling that 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders should be tested on the computer in 6th grade. So they backed off from all that, which we then backed off from the need to have quite so many computers at that age level and maintaining them.
Mhm.
And so now we're kind of back at that point of, okay, we probably need to rethink how we're going to be able to manage this in the future.
Which is awful for us, really, because it's not like in elementary we're using those devices on the daily. That would be an expenditure purely to support testing. And obviously, if we're spending money on those devices, we're not able to spend them in other areas.
Yep.
Now, I know there's programs with some of the suppliers that can do, like leasing of computers and whatnot. And a lot of there's programs so you don't have to maintain them. You lease them for a certain amount of time, and then like a car where you turn them back in and get equipment on a, kind of as a service with people like Dell and Lenovo and whatnot. I don't know if there are other so that's something we ought to look into. I don't know if there are other things that you can do with and the good thing about those leases is you can still they can do like a capital lease, so you can capitalize it on the balance sheet. So it's something you can spread that cost out over the life of that contract on the lease. But there may be some opportunities somewhere. I don't know if we should talk to the county as well, or say like, hey, especially with elementary school, we only need 50 computers for 2 weeks, two or 3 times a year, like.
Right, but it's actually more than that. That's the problem with right now. If
I'm just making, I don't know what the exact numbers are, but if there's whatever that scenario is, I imagine other than us just having to invest capital and
Right.
buying equipment, we should look at some other opportunities to.
I think we looked at leasing at one.
Grants available to get computer equipment or state grants or even.
So
No.
public doesn't talk during the board meetings. You missed your. That's all right. So as,
We've got grant money, like, and we've been leveraging all of that. ESSER
right,
money, things like that.
right. But
I
we
don't
just
know.
didn't think we needed it to
We
do
hadn't
it.
planned that. in
You
budget
don't want to
for
be
Right.
more
investing
there
in
for such a
technology,
small
but,
window of time, so.
you know,
it's-
I think we gotta look at.
It's a lot of
what-
money for limited use.
Right.
And it probably, I would imagine, no matter where it comes from, whether it's leasing or anything,
Yeah.
you need it at the same time that all the other schools in this area need it. So it's not like you can share it with another school and we'll use it this week and you use it next
Right.
week. Because you're all told on the same day, this is the day you're doing testing.
Right.
Right.
No, but
Now,
good ideas.
would a traditional elementary school here have enough devices on hand to run this sort of testing program anyway, or are other?
I,
schools gonna
you
be
know,
facing
I,
the same
a
situation?
lot of the elementary schools kind of have leaned into that idea of devices. And so they have invested more heavily in devices. But again, as we know in our environment, since we have to put so much money into our actual materials, we've pulled back
Sure.
from that, you know. So again, it's something we'll have to look again at doing.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Philip, who's the treasurer.
We might be able to buy, the durability of the devices could be lower if they're only used for testing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's true.
It's a more,
And what's on them, like what their
yeah,
purpose of it.
and
you
that,
know?
that might be the way that makes it possible.
Right.
You have your testing devices that just aren't, they're not as robust, they're not as built out.
Mhm.
There's still the time, but maybe that's even the middle school or.
A whole bunch of Chromebooks.
Mhm.
That's what I was, when you said that, I thought, well, maybe Steven's not on here, but maybe this is when we start investing in Chromebooks.
Yeah.
They are inexpensive. I don't know if they do run.
Used just for testing.
Right,
They come out
right.
and the testing's done, they go
Right.
back into the cabinet for a
Right.
couple more months, which would
Right.
allow them to stay around, because I know middle or elementary classrooms can be a tough place for a computer to stay
Yeah.
alive.
Yeah. Any other good discussion? Okay, Jared Stewart, tell us about, give us an update on the high school.
All right. So a couple things I wanted to share. First, we are done with our first round of fast testing, and our results are pretty good. On average, our students outperformed the district and the state. So that was nice to see. I don't know the exact numbers offhand, but it was nice to see how well our students did. They took it very seriously. And you know, it was promising to see those results. So that was nice. I'm excited that we are starting to plan some field trips for our students, which that's nice to be able to do that again. We have a couple already in the works, including one that's going to be open to all of our students to attend the Lady of the Lakes Renaissance Festival. So that's going to be kind of a neat integration into language arts and social studies curriculum. And so we're hoping that that will be a popular event and we'll get a bunch of our students and teachers to participate in that. Our environmental science class is going to be taking a trip out to Ponce Inlet for kind of an immersive day looking at marine ecosystems. And they have this whole really neat activity planned for them. A few other things in the works too. So that's really neat to see those things getting going. What I'm really excited about, had a great conversation with the CTE department with the OCPS last week, as we're looking to try to gear up in our incubator class and make some moves towards industry certification. We've landed on a fairly new industry certification in entrepreneurship that's being provided through Certiport, which is the state's certifying program or company, I guess. So when students are taking the vast majority of industry certifications, they run through Certiport. And so what was really neat is the program that we've been using in Incubator for Entrepreneurship, Nifty, was one of the programs that was recommended by Certiport. So it's nice that we already kind of have that ball rolling in that direction. So now we have to work on getting teacher certified so they can certify students. There's already been some interest in some of the students. We're starting really to target our senior students, and really with the idea that even if students are not necessarily interested in entrepreneurship per se as a career, having an understanding of how businesses run is helpful for so many different industries. It's good. I was having a conversation with Patrice just about experiences I've had with people who are really talented in their area of expertise and have started a small business, but have had limited success because they didn't really understand the business side. So even for those students who may be interested in other fields, I think this is going to be a great experience for them. And then we'll be looking at expanding that in the near future too, with additional certification offerings, and trying to see how best we can fit the interests of our students with the types of certification areas that industry in our area locally is really looking for. So trying to make that connection is important too. So I'm really excited about the movement in that direction. And by the end of the school year, we will have some of our students with industry certifications as they graduate and move on to their post-secondary life. So that's going to be really a great thing for them. And what's really interesting, because it's so new, there's certainly a lot of opportunity for companies to see that, recognize that, and kind of use that to distinguish their candidates, right? So separate them out. The associate superintendent over CTE was part of that discussion. She said that there are companies already who are looking at that entrepreneurship certification and saying, hey, if I have the choice between two candidates that are equal in all other ways, the one with that certification is going to stand out as a more desirable candidate. So that's my update. I'm really happy to be able to share that with everyone, and really excited for what we're going to be able to do in that incubator program.
Thank you, Jared. It's great. Good to hear. Any questions? We're excited about, what those options can be, especially as we can break it out even further. So further on to the discussion tonight, I just wanted to share, I know the board is always looking for updates on the building topic. I may have given you a little bit more than you wanted, but I did want to give you an update on where we're at. So you could see that the basketball striping is going to be finished, Kathy, the week of October the 3rd. I know we wanted it sooner, but October is coming, so we're excited about that. We also know on Fuller's Cross, we had a little bit of a hiccup because unfortunately we found out that the easeway does not belong to the city of Ocoee, and the easeway actually belongs to the county. So the city of Ocoee acknowledged the error on their part. So we have just a small little hiccup, and it shouldn't be much because the work that actually needs to be completed on that part of this street should not mean much from the county. So we are hoping to hear an update this Thursday. I'm looking at you guys looking at me. Yeah, I know we were all a little bit surprised on that as well. The other, do we want to talk about that anymore, Brett?
Did we ever hear anything back from Bob Z or anybody?
Not yet, not yet.
I guess my concerns are just around the potential impacts to timeline and or cost.
Right.
certainly if there are cost implications, how we go back to the city of Ocoee and, have a discussion with them about that. That's
I mentioned it to a couple of people at the city's ribbon cutting,
sure they
just a
were.
little bit of just, and they all said, oh, no, don't worry, that it should pull through pretty quickly with the
Yeah.
county, so we'll see. The other piece with the dewatering on
That was
that
a bigger
part of the property, that probably has a little bit more of my concern, because as we know, it hasn't been just that we've had rains, but we are just getting, floods, so right now, one of the biggest issues that they are battling is dewatering that property so they can do all the trenching and set up the pond for holding all that water. So that's been something that they are applying, don't ask me to really explain this, but they're applying something that they call a sock that is going to be used, and you're looking at me that a sock that it's going to be used as some way of which to capture more of the water than they're capturing right now. And then you saw just some of the other details. The other things are really,
Imagine if we were still trying to build a 2-story building on that.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
I mean, we knew this was, for
Swampland
years,
and
we had
yeah,
this
yeah.
knowledge that it was swampland and then
Mhm.
high water table was
Yeah.
what's gonna drive the cost, but I think we're seeing now probably would have been significantly more impactful than we would have thought.
6 feet of
Trying to
dirt would have
build.
been 12 feet of dirt.
right,
Needed for how much?
Right. Right.
Project delays would be much more stressful,
yes, yes.
needing the building for the students versus
Right.
just for cars.
Mhm.
No, it's been a lot. And again, we'll get updates this Thursday and I'll pass them along to you as, hopefully this sock, that they are putting together is going to help for some of that, dewatering right now. The other thing that I do want to put out there though, in the midst of all this on Fuller's Cross, we are continuing to investigate bringing in electric onto that property as well as bringing in the irrigation. So we have a well and we can tie into the well. We are going to move the well's location. So we've kind of inherited some infrastructure from the previous owners. And we were kind of turning those into wins. And one of those right now is being able to really use the well, but just move the well so that we can use it to irrigate the soccer field. And we are also being able to bring in electric. So we have people that are working on that right now. So again, and that will also help us in the future, should we decide to even build a small building on that property, in the front of the property, or wherever. So that's also something that we're working on. KCC is really virtually, complete. There was a few items that they had to finish on their punch list, but we are basically closing out that part of the project. And we had the county come in to do their final approval for the CO, which we already have the CO, but so most all of that is complete. Any questions?
How does one move a well? Don't you have to read?
I,
How would you just drag them?
The piping you would pay for, so they're.
Right,
able
so
to
I'm
pull all that piping up
assuming,
and move it,
right,
to
I'm
a
assuming
different
it's just the
location,
piping they're moving.
but they'll still have to
and
re-drill
yeah.
it.
No, I don't think so. I think the way my understanding is,
Oh, they move the piping
I
underneath
think,
to re.
but
allocate
until you ask the questions,
Yeah.
I don't know. So, I'm
Also,
not
like
sure.
Philip, she knows a lot, but how to move a well might be outside of scope.
Thank you.
Research, you can
Thank
add it
you.
to your resume.
So
Yeah.
Stacy usually comes to the building meeting,
I
so
know, I
she'll
was not
remind me
there
on
this week,
Thursday.
but I won't
Yeah,
be there this week.
this Thursday we can ask that,
Well, it's
like,
it's
how
not critical.
do
was
we
just
move?
wondering
I
about that
know.
one.
All I know is on the plans, they moved it very easily.
Just drag.
They erased it and redrew it.
Oh, man. Yeah. Anyway, any more questions about the building and construction? Good question, Phil. Sure. So the only thing I have else is just, again, just doing a shout out to all the athletics that we have moving. We're really excited. We had our first win in soccer, so that was exciting. And Volleyball is moving along, so we do have a vote for tonight, and that is with the Safe School Plan. I attached it for both IMO and IMHS. This is the Safe School Plan that we put together with OCPS on their template. This is also the plan that right now we are using for reunification. You've heard that before about where do you stage, how do you reunite parents if there isn't a reason to evacuate the property. So this is that plan, but I will say that the state is putting together their own template on what a reunification plan will look like. And so that may come back to you, sometime this year, that we have to fill that out differently. Any questions about those safe school plans that we put together? Somebody like to vote to approve, and then we'd have to have them signed off.
I'll move to approve as attached to the agenda.
Thank you.
And then
All right, so I have a motion to approve the safe school plans as attached, the second from Philip. Any discussion, questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
Okay, thank you. And that's my report for the evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Philip, over to you for finance.
All right, let's do our finance update. Well, welcome to, what are we, 6 weeks into the school year?
Just almost 6 weeks, yeah.
So we are, as always, one of the questions I asked Dave today is where are we on cash flow? Is cash flow an area of concern for us? And this year, it doesn't have the strain that we've had in years past. We're seeing our student counts coming up pretty close to where our actual counts are. We are expecting to get our FEFP dollars into where we budgeted for, so that'll be nice for both organizations. A little bit of geography between whether it's the students in CASA or kindergarten, but those end up being relevant for the total numbers. And we have some grant money outstanding that we are waiting on coming in from OCPS. This is for ESSER 3 that's taking its sweet time before being released. That's a little bit of a strain, but again, not too huge of dollars that we're looking at. It's enough to create Dave some angst, but not the rest of us need to worry about it. Sorry, Dave, but thank you. For TSIA dollars, since you heard about it so much last year, I figured it important to keep giving you an update. There's this, I feel like things sometimes only governments, it only makes sense to governments with the way that they break things out and describe it. So the continuity is coming to us. The increase of it has not come yet. So fortunately, the increase is a relatively small portion of it. So we are seeing those dollars come in, but we're not seeing the extra dollars come in. Anticipating those hopefully sooner than we saw them last year, but I don't have enough information to give any reasonable estimate on when we're seeing that, but that is one of those areas that's coming in. And for bond requirements, we're expecting to start making our first payments on interest payments coming out this month. So we're watching for the invoices to come in from our various vendors that we've partnered with to help make sure that we dot all our I's and cross all our T's and do all those things we're supposed to do. And one surprise that Dave mentioned to me, and I was like, well, yeah, this sounds like the same thing I'm hearing at work, and Kevin was just mentioning this for others too, is that electric costs are high. I believe actually at home are also hearing this. And so for the high school building, we're going, oh, ouch, those are really high. So that's on the list, just figure out did we just completely misguess how much it's going to cost? Do we have too many ice boxes, that are classrooms? What can we do to help cut down some of those costs? So the second bill that came in for a month was for $6,000 for the month. So probably a little higher than your home bill, hopefully.
Yeah.
But not quite what I've seen at some of our hospital campuses, but those could destroy our budget. So, so overall, shaping up to looking like a good year. Not seeing anything that throws us way off of budget at this time, and I think that. And just double check. And last of all, inquiries from Finance Committee. Have 2 inquiries. I'll be reaching out to them hopefully this week. my apologies. You probably expect me to get in touch with you last week, but yeah, that's, I take a week off every month from the rest of the world and just focus on work. So we will have finance committee next week. So I'll be reaching out to the 2 people that I have inquiries from. That's the finance update.
Good, okay. Sarah, PTO update for us?
Hi, guys. We have our spirit night this Wednesday at Playa Pizza. We're really excited. It's from 4 to 8 p.m. You can order in store or online. If you're ordering online, please use code PTO Owls 922. Again, PTO Owls 922. Lots of Fall Fest updates. It's right around the corner, so we're very excited. We started a donation ticket drive for IMO families in need, and so far we've raised $564 or 47 tickets that we can donate to those families in need. So we're excited about that as well. A reminder, just want to talk about the community closet. We are still accepting donations for gently used uniforms. We have a need for the larger sizes. Middle school size is going. We have a lot of some of the younger sizes, the 4T, 5T. So just to put that out there. We are still collecting things for our baskets for the raffles. We're going to be having 13 themed baskets and the raffle ticket donation at the fall fair or Fall Fest. The other thing that we're going to be doing is our clothing drive. And then we'll be putting out bins in front of primary and main campus this Monday for those families that can't be at Fall Fest to bring those items to contribute to the donations. So we are going to be getting a percentage of how many pounds we bring. So the more pounds, if you have leftover blankets, comforters, pop those in there. Those are heavy. Shoes, if you bag them separately, that could be something great to bring as well. So that is rolling, and Fall Fest is well underhand. I wanted to remind everybody to please sign up and register for box tops and the Amazon Smile program. They're really easy to do. Just go online and families can register. And as you're making your regular Amazon purchases, the school will receive a portion of those funds. So we wanted to remind everybody for that. We have our next PTO meeting on next Monday, 9/19, and that's at 8 p.m. and that will be through Zoom. And then the next upcoming in-person event will be the chili cook-off after Fall Fest, of course. And that will be November 12th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. And then the last thing that we've been really trying to hammer out is that the PTO has been working with the PTSO, which is over high school, and we're really trying to finalize our structure. But we wanted to encourage all families in high school. Just because we have older kids doesn't mean we don't need to be involved. We really want to encourage high school families, parents, please get involved. We really are interested in some volunteers or any way they want to help out. We're going to try to plan some coffee connects where some of the high school families can meet and greet, because we may have a lot of new families coming to IMO just in the high school. So we'd like to help bridge that gap as we solidify some of the structure. And that's the PTO update.
Sarah, did you say that we can also send in blankets? Is that what I heard?
Yes. So with our donation drive, it can be clothes, blankets, shoes, small children's toys under 12 inches.
I didn't hear the toys part.
Right, DVDs, and then they didn't want me to really advertise it very much, but they will accept some books as well. So those are very heavy. So our goal is to hopefully raise about 1,000 pounds, 1,500 pounds. So that could be very exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't know about the blankets either.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, those are heavy. Bring
Okay. All right.
Hey,
Awesome.
Sarah, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate you stepping up.
Yes,
And
Sarah.
taking on this rollover. You know, it's been a month or two now, and you've really hit the ground running with all this stuff, so appreciate you and all of your leadership.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for bearing with me as I learn names and faces and roles. I appreciate all the help I've gotten from everybody. It's been wonderful.
Awesome. Thank you, Sarah. Okay, we are close to the end. We have our 4 key board goals. Any updates? Any progress? Anything anybody would like to share committee-wise?
I think we had a committee meeting this afternoon that I think was productive in terms of our strategy for, filling and sourcing on an executive director role. So I feel like we've got a plan of how we want to approach this, and we've got some work to do to put together job descriptions and talk to some folks and begin strategizing on the sourcing stuff of it. So we were all there for that. So not too much else to share.
And on the board interest side, we have 10 interested people who have reached out in some way, shape, or form for interest in joining the board. And that's the most I've ever had in my time here. So I'm excited.
So Kristen, can we kind of get a plan for how we want to work through this? I mean, we've obviously started to have some conversations with some folks about where we can get support on committee and activities and whatnot. I think either if we need to have a separate meeting just to talk about how we want to go through, the folks that we've got on the docket, let's do that. But
yeah, I'm trying to make sure to get resumes and cover letters from everybody. I kind of want everybody to submit something in addition to a resume that kind of just speaks a little bit to, what the interest is and that. And then I'm just trying to have a preliminary conversation with them just to kind of, hear what their interests are and what the fit might be there. And so, and then.
So if you want to, maybe we can just follow up from this meeting with, if you want to kind of draft what the kind of approach can be for reviewing, vetting, interviewing, whatnot. I think we've got a process that we put in place in terms
We
of
can share the load
criteria
on
to-
that too, like, versus you having to do all 10, but feel free,
I would love that. That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have
Sounds
you
good.
shared that process or at least the criteria with everybody that's contacted you? in terms of
Yeah, I'm just
attending
following what I
board
had.
meetings,
Yep,
participating?
first is, resume, cover letter, attend some meetings, find an opportunity to participate and help out in some way if at all possible with committees or whatnot. And then, interview would be at some point to be determined, so. That's good news, but yeah, I can write that up, how we can all help. Anything else?
I didn't have anything else.
Okay.
We just feels like we just met like a couple weeks ago, so.
Yeah, because we met late last
We met late
time,
last
so.
month, so short agenda for this month. so.
We may want to remind everybody that next month it's October 4th instead of the second 9 weeks, correct? We moved
That's
it.
right.
Yeah, and the
it is.
reason we did that is so that we can
Okay.
confirm those teachers that are out of field because they
Okay.
have not, and just like last year, they're still finalizing that list and will get that list to us, but then make sure that we approve it before FTE.
Oh,
So
okay.
that was the reason, and you did that ahead of time.
Oh, I did. Okay.
Yeah, you did that.
We
you
talked
did
about that so long
We
ago, I
did. You
thought.
did that ahead of time. Kristen.
Okay, I was like, oh,
But
that's what I
I'll
already
be
heard
traveling that week,
Okay.
so I don't know if I'll be able to attend or not.
Okay.
I may be able to attend virtually.
I
That's your,
unlikely to go.
that's your crazy week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'll have a quick one then. Okay. All righty. So it's.
So in saying that, do you want me to save the data review for November?
Yeah, let's talk about that. I mean,
Okay,
I
okay.
don't want to wait to share some of the
Yeah.
data
Right,
points. I think
right.
that's good information here. I mean, if I'm not here, obviously, you and I can catch that
Yeah.
in one of our one-on-one meetings. but,
Okay. And I can just share with
distribute
Philip.
with the board
Okay.
afterwards, So
Mhm.
Yep.
I'd say keep it.
Okay.
Plan for that.
Okie dokie.
Sounds good.
Well, we
Okay.
can call the meeting adjourned at 7:24.
Sounds good.
All
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Have a
you.
wonderful night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.